For all the powers, 1915 was going to be a decisive year. The French were going to force the Germans out of Belgium, while the Germans were going to break through and capture Paris. The Germans hoped to retake eastern Prussia and move into Poland, while the Russians hoped to advance. The Austrians hoped to break through and capture Serbia, while the Turks had dreams of reconquering Egypt. Only the Hungarians would achieve their objectives this year. On the Western Front, the British attempted the first offensive at the village of Neuve Chapelle, where their assault made no progress at all. The Germans then tried an assault on Ypres, but despite a massive bombardment of the town that nearly completely destroyed it, the Germans were unable to dislodge the French from the town. The failure of either offensive convinced both sides to attempt to break the stalemate by some other means. The Germans introduced gas warfare to the battlefield for the first time. While the gases were effective in killing enemy soldiers in a horrendous way, it did not result in a German breakthrough. Rather, it was just another terrible tactic to kill with. The British decided to attempt an ambitious naval assault on the Gallipoli peninsula with the hopes of capturing Constantinople. The initial attack succeeded, but the Turks put up such unexpectedly strong defense that the British were forced to withdraw after suffering extremely high casualties. On the Eastern Front, the Germans managed to steadily advance against the Russians, capturing most of Russian Poland. The Austrians managed to capture all of Serbia, with the help of the Bulgarians who joined the war on their side. 300,000 soldiers of the defeated Serbian army managed to make their way to the coast, where they were rescued by the Allies. 1915 showed that World War I would be different from all previous wars in a number of terrible ways. When the Russians began to advance in the early part of the year on the Ottoman Empire, the Armenians hoped that their national aspirations might finally be recognized. The Turks attacked the Armenians in Turkey's eastern provinces, and soon began the first genocide of the 20th century. During the course of 1915, 600,000 were massacred by the Turks, and another 200,000 died as a result of their forced expulsion. The Germans also introduced new weapons to the war. The first was the widespread use of submarines. The Germans began unrestricted submarine warfare, hoping to blockade England. One of the early successful targets was the SS Lusitania, a British passenger liner. When it sunk, 1,198 passengers and crew members drowned, including 128 Americans. The sinking outraged America, but did not cause the U.S. to change its policy of neutrality. The Lusitania was but one of many ships to be sunk in 1915. 1915 was the first year to see widespread use of aircraft on the battlefield. They had begun primarily with the mission of scouting, but during the beginning of 1915, the Germans used Zeppelins for the first time to bomb Britain.